Our verse today is Ezra chapter 6, verse 7. Let the work on this house of God alone. Let the governor of the Jews and the elders of the Jews rebuild this house of God on its site. Yesterday we had a beautiful introduction to the book of Ezra by Father Daniel. Cyrus, the pagan king of Persia, became the person God used to rebuild the temple and city of Jerusalem, destroyed during the Babylonian exile in 587-586 BC. When Cyrus gave the edict to rebuild the temple and Jerusalem, many exiles joyfully returned home, led by Ezra and Nehemiah. They zealously began the work. But along the line, some of those who had remained in the land of Israel were not happy to see the work of the rebuilding going on. By this time, the new king, Artaxerxes, was in Persia. As they were called, these people of the land wrote a letter to King Artaxerxes, telling him that the city of Jerusalem was once rebellious, and that if it was rebuilt, the people would rebel again against the king. You can read Ezra chapter 4, 11 to 16. King Artaxerxes listened to them and ordered the work to stop. When Darius became king, he found the royal edict of Cyrus, which ordered the rebuilding of the city of Jerusalem and the temple. Darius then ordered the work to commence again. He wrote a letter to the governor and the leaders of the province beyond the river, as it was called. Tattenai was the governor of the entire Persian province of Trans-Euphrates, called in Aramaic beyond the river. This province extended from the Euphrates River in the north to Egypt in the south. Meanwhile, Zerubbabel was the governor of the Jews and was viewed by Darius as subordinate to Tattenai. Our verse comes within that context and gives the content of Darius's letter, which was addressed to Tattenai. Let the work on this house of God alone. Let the governor of the Jews and the elders of the Jews rebuild this house of God on its site. This message brought great relief once more to the Jewish nation. The work commenced and was completed speedily. Two important points in this verse are: first, let the work on this house of God alone. No one must stop the work of the house of God. In our day, we must also ensure that we do not become obstacles to the work of God's house. We could be part of this work either physically or spiritually. We must make physical contributions to our local churches in whatever way we can. Some may contribute physically doing some work, others may contribute through their money. In whatever way, God appreciates our efforts, either in time or in talent. Secondly, the governor and elders of the Jews must allow the temple to be built on the designated site. The temple in Jerusalem must be rebuilt in its former site. Here comes a clear call for our leaders today: not to suppress religious sites or prevent worship in any form. People should be free to worship, but also be given freedom to build places of worship. It is on record that many of our northern governments, especially in Nigeria, prevent freedom of worship by denying Christians the right to land for places of worship. That may be the case in some Muslim-dominated areas in the world. Such attitudes must be condemned and such governments called out. Lord, may your children enjoy freedom of worship, and may our leaders not become obstacles to that worship. Amen. God bless you, and I wish you a splendid day.